back, Deadites and Ghost Speeders, and if you're new to the channel, I am Oldhead Gaming. Feel free to hit that sub button for all horror Asym news. And a lot of people have been asking in both Dead by Daylight and Texas Chain Saw videos over the last week, what does it feel like to transition from other Asyms, particularly Dead by Daylight, to Texas Chain Saw Massacre, that is going to be dropping this Friday, 4 days from now, from Gun and Sumo, and I'll break it down pretty simple. Basically, of all the Asyms that have been around, and most people have been playing over the last couple of years, Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight, Evil Dead the game, the one it feels the least like is Evil Dead due to the amount of confrontation that occurs between the survivors and the demon, where there's a lot of bloodshed and there's a lot of slaughter on both sides, and then you have a standoff then. It doesn't really feel like that. What it feels like is kind of a perfect marriage between Gun's Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight, where you're working certain objectives, and then the killers have certain abilities, and then you can try to figure out who's going to get out and who doesn't. But the thing that's awesome about it is, unlike Dead by Daylight, where there's really two means to escape, it's finish the gens and get out the gate, or you're the last one left and you have a chance at the hatch. There's a lot of options when it comes to Texas Chain Saw Massacre. That's the part that feels really good. There's 4 means on every map, and certain abilities are going to make other options seem much more plausible. And what's great about it is it does feel like Friday. You do have some ways to fight back. There is the bone that you can pick up that not only can you use to deactivate sound alerts, but you can stab Grandpa, you can stab pretty much every family member. Now, just be aware, Leatherface is kind of a horse of a different color. He has his own ability to basically withstand a lot of stun and direct damage. So you will stun him or knock him out of Chainsaw, but it's very, very, very minimal, and it's almost not worth doing. It's like a desperate times, desperate measure situation, because Leatherface will just basically turn around and gear his chainsaw back up. Now, one of the things that most people worry about when it comes to Dead by Daylight carrying over into Texas Chain Saw is the whole camping, tunneling kind of situation. Well, you can't really camp because there's no hooks. You only have one life as a victim. Unlike a Dead by Daylight where you basically have 3 lives to play with before you're executed, you just get the one as a victim. Now, once you have been downed, there's 2 outcomes that can occur. One is the family member goes immediately into their execution, and that's the end of your life, and you are no longer in the match. And at that point, you can either stay around and watch, or you can leave with no penalty. You're not disconnecting at that point. You're just done. You get your XP and you go on your way. Or the other possibility is you're able to crawl down a well, you're able to crawl through a fence, and at that point you have a chance to get yourself back up, or one of your teammates can get you back up and use heal items to get you back to full. At that point, it's basically starting over. You're not dead, so you're still in the game. That's the first part. So you can kind of slug, but it really isn't advantageous to the family. It's more, the only way it really works is if you're trying to drop someone before they get out the front and you need to go catch another victim. Like, so slugging isn't going to be a real big problem, because most of the time, once you're down, unless it's Leatherface picking you up to carry you to a hook for environmental execution, it's going to be pretty much you're going to be killed, and that's going to be the end of your match. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So tunneling and camping isn't really a situation. It's more using the environment to your advantage. Now, the other possibility is you can jump through the window, which will put you in a down state until you've fully recovered. During that time, usually Leatherface is going to go for an execution, or, you know, you get a chance to get up and make your way out. Using the front window is always an option, just because powers are going to lock you in the house and make it a lot more difficult to get away. Now, the next thing you're going to have to know about transitioning is it's not going to be like Dead by Daylight where you can transfer powers to different characters. If you pick one of the 5 family members to play, or you pick one of the 5 victims to play, you're going to go with what their skill set offers. Now, you are able to manipulate their talent trees and build the way you want to build and make your character different from, say, my Connie versus everyone else I'm playing with Connie, or my Sissy versus everyone else I'm playing with is Sissy. But you're not going to be able to be like, I want to transfer her poison to Bubba. That's not happening. Also, you gotta remember, the only one who can do an insta-kill no matter the level of health is Leatherface. If he hits you with max chainsaw, brr, you are dead. That's the end of it. He'll chop you in two, and you've just called it a day. So that's some of the things they need to know. So as playing as a victim, you're going to notice that some things are going to be different, and each individual character has their own individual star power, which is kind of what makes them unique. And then, of course, you're going to build them up with trees. Now, the star power, say, for Connie is her ability to just auto-bypass locks. It is very good for her being an escape expert. Or, for example, Leland's star power is he's able to do the shoulder tackle, which is basically like head-on. He can drill any of the 5 family members. He will knock 4 of them straight down and put them in stun state, and he'll just kind of just bother Leatherface. Leatherface is just a horse. Like, you're going to hit him, and it could stun him for a split second, but it's not going to be like if you hit Cook and knock him on his ass. Or you're going to have Sunny, who can basically wall hack and kind of see things through walls. Or Anna basically goes into a haste state where she can take extra hits, has extra health, and extra stamina. She gets very strong. And Julie's, we just don't know yet. We're kind of under wraps, and eventually we'll figure out what her power. On the victim side, that is what you're looking at. You're looking at individual powers that you build as a cohesive team to counter against what you're going against on the family side. On the family side, each is going to have their unique power, and every team, at least this is how it was in the tech test, has to have a Leatherface. So it's Leatherface accompanied by 2 different family members of your choice. Grandpa does not count. He is not playable. He is available in every single match. And how Grandpa works is as he's fed blood and his power increases, he lets out a mighty roar and basically will ping your location for members of the family. And as he gets higher and higher, he'll eventually get to basically he's constantly roaring and you are basically permanently exposed. Now, Leatherface has the insta-kill, the chainsaw. He can go very insidious, though, and keep it super quiet. But that's basically what you're expecting with a Leatherface. The Cook has the ability to kind of track you via hearing, while Johnny has the ability to track you via your footsteps. Sissy has the ability to poison you directly, or like Plague in Dead by Daylight, put poison on things that can then in turn afflict that dot to you. And then finally, Hitchhiker is basically like Trapper, where he'll lay these little traps that are usually at windows or they're at doors, and they come on top of steps and basically trap you in place. Once you are trapped, you will be able to fight out of it, just like Trapper, but you will scream and everyone in the family will know your location. And that's basically how the game works in DBD to Texas Chainsaw terms. You basically kind of know what to expect. It is going to be a little bit different because you are indeed 4 survivors, or 4 victims in this case, versus 1 killer or 3 family members in this case. So you go from a 4v1 to a 4v3, and that does take some getting used to. Now, I know I felt like when I was playing victim the first few matches, it did seem a little overwhelming until I understood how all of our powers intermingled. And of course, I will say this, it seems to me that comms will be very important for communicating locations, abilities, and saves on both sides. Now, let me know if you have any questions on what it's going to be like transitioning. Let me know. I want to hear in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.